It is Tuesday, so we are live. It's Bleav and Carolina Panthers here on Bleav Podcast Networks on Bleav's YouTube channel. The audio will be on the Bleav Podcast Network a little bit later on today. Desmond Johnson, Jonathan Stewart, pointing the wrong way. Jonathan Stewart in the house. Super Bowl week. It's the biggest week in the NFL. We got you covered forward and backwards. Are the Chiefs America's new team to hate? They're starting to cross over into this area where they're winning a little too much, and I'm starting to catch a little hate vibes outside when I'm out in public talking to people about the Chiefs. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Eagles head coach Nick Siriani. Is he getting the props he deserves? What does it mean if the Chiefs actually three-peat and actually complete this historic run they've been on? Where do we put them in the upper echelon of teams that have won Super Bowls in the past? We'll give mine and Stu's top 3 Super Bowl dynasties. And keys to the game, of course, final predictions. It's all right here. Share it. Let's go. Just contribute. It's live. It's Bleav in Carolina Panthers. Let's go.
Jonathan Stewart gets in, fights for more yardage. Stewart to the mouth of the goal line. Touchdown!
Wow, that's just pure Stewart right there.
That's a big-time run by Jonathan Stewart.
Welcome to Bleav in Carolina Panthers here on Bleav Podcast Networks. Do you believe? Rate and subscribe the show on all major podcast platforms and subscribe to our social media channels on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Video available weekly at youtube.com/@Tobacco Road Sports Radio.
Do you believe?
And welcome into a brand new edition of Bleav in Panthers here on the Bleav Podcast Networks. Desmond Johnson, Jonathan Stewart, Panthers all-time leading rusher in the house, getting you ready for Super Bowl 59 this Sunday, 6:30 p.m. on Fox. The Kansas City Chiefs will attempt to make history and go back-to-back-to-back, winning their third Super Bowl in a row and 3 in the past 4 years, or 3 in the past 5 years, if I'm not mistaken. 4 in the past 5 years as they take on Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. Before we get down to the nitty-gritty of everything, a word from our sponsors over at Bet Online. Bet Online continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, Bet Online provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen with the largest selection of odds on everything from football, the NBA, college basketball, NHL to UFC. Head to BetOnline today and don't forget to use the promo code BLEAV, BLEAV, for your welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here. And Stu, as I bring in my compadre here, I don't think any of us had on our BetOnline window our bingo cards that Anthony Davis would get traded for Luka Doncic. I woke up like I thought it was a joke. Like I woke up, I'm in the bathroom. I'm just like, what's going on? Oh my God, what? Because I'm a Laker fan. So I was like, what is going on? I'm trying to remember. Can you remember in any sport a trade that involved 2 top 10 players basically in their prime getting traded for each other? Like, because I was sitting there trying to think about it, and usually it's a lopsided type of deal, but I can't think of a trade where Luka's 25.
Yeah,
like the third best player in the league.
I can't recall it. I mean, as far as, in season movement, where guys are swapping teams and all that, and maybe off season movement where teams are, the big 3 and all that kind of stuff when it started when, LeBron was, with Wade and them and with the Heat, right? So I think that was like the first time that I can recall, as a young, sports fan of, some chaos, right? People going like haywire over, hey, wait a minute.
You can't do
Them
that.
3 really good players being on the same team. That can't happen.
Even that, they conspired to do that. They weren't traded together with it. They all made sure their contracts ended, and like
they had the off-season talks. They had the boat rides, the yachts.
The banana boat ride. This smells more like Dallas had enough of Luka's shenanigans, because I've been reading that. I didn't see it when he got off the plane last night, but I was reading he was up to like 275 pounds. Like his conditioning was off. They were worried about it. And I do remember I did watch the finals last year, and I do remember Luka being kind of a defensive liability. Guys were just kind of sliding right by him. But then Luka come down and shoot a 40-foot 3 and would just be like, all right, well.
So, he was dealing with some ailments too towards the end of that.
Yeah,
right?
he was hurt. His leg. Yeah, he had a hurt leg. Yeah. Anthony Davis goes to Dallas.
I think what this is it could be a little bit of a lot, right? Like the NBA and ownership, you have to, at the end of the day, the players are going to come and go, the NBA is going to always be there. You know what I'm saying? So I look at that as Dallas in some format saying, hey, we can invest in you if you invest in yourself. And we're going to get guys in here that will not have us thinking twice about what we're doing and what we're paying you, right? Because clearly that boy was up for a big payday.
Dude, he was up for max. If I'm Luka, I'm a little upset at Dallas because
I'm super upset. I just bought a house and
it was it was 6 years, $325 million extension he was about to get. Now, since he got traded, he no longer qualifies for the super max. Yeah, so he just literally had $110 million left on the table.
So
he didn't do anything. So
it looks like this was like a message, right? Look, yeah, overweight. Any players that are about to come in here thinking that they not going to put the work in and just depend on your talent, those days shouldn't exist, and they don't exist anymore. And I think Luka's a great player. He's an international star. You know what I'm saying? So all these basketball players are really, you know what I'm saying? So I think this is, without getting too deep into it, this should be a wake-up call and basically an opportunity for him to re-identify with work ethic. And what better way to do that than be with the Lakers with LeBron James? You talk about a guy, Michael Jordan's greatest of all time. When it comes to LeBron James, the longevity and everything that he puts into his craft to be where he's able to play in the league with his son, like, come on now.
He had a triple-double the other night. Yeah.
If I'm Luka, I'm saying, all right, I'm going to get over this. We're in season. Let me get my mind right. You know what I'm saying? Clearly, I missed out on $150 million because I just want to put the work in. Whatever it is that you got going on, brother. Go hang out with LeBron for about the rest of the year.
I will say
LeBron doing, I'm doing.
It does kind of feel like it was a move for the future for the Lakers because they can sign Luka for the next, have him for the next decade and build around him.
He'll get a max deal at some point.
Yeah, he'll get a max deal at some point. It also feels like this might be LeBron's last year. That they're kind of starting to move on life without LeBron. Anthony Davis is 31, so I can kind of see what they were doing there. On the Dallas side, though, they just made like a front line with like Davis, Gafford, Lively. Like you got like 3 7-footers like on your front line now.
And then you got Klay Thompson.
Yeah, Klay.
You got Kyrie.
I mean, they're trying to win now.
Yeah, but no one's really talking about Dallas right now. They're not talking about, oh, well, that trade happened. Now Dallas is the front runner.
Yeah. It's crazy too, because I just heard on the radio this morning, I think on ESPN, I was dropping my kid off at school. Did the city of Dallas have like the worst sports week like ever? Because when we went off last week.
But was it the worst though?
Well, because you got before the trade. But after our show last week, Dallas, instead of going and getting our boy Dion,
do you believe
they adopted the coach within the staff?
Yeah, they just went downstairs. They was like, "Yo,
hey,
Jared just coach, right?" In the cafeteria.
Jared Jones went down there and said, "Hey, you can coach, right?
You come here.
Okay, come here. Let me talk to you, man. Like, I love you, man. How you been?
How you been
doing? What's your last name again? How your family doing? You got a family, right?
What's in this door, Jerry? Oh, it's just a press conference. You're about to be the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Like, what? So, like, they hired Brian Schottenheimer. Nobody in Dallas is happy about that, and because they didn't even interview like Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson, like all these hot shot coordinators. They didn't really interview Dion. It seemed like he was going to promote from the beginning, and then you trade off a generational player from the Mavericks and Luka Doncic, who, by all accounts, is probably a top 3 player in the league right now. Yeah. He's 25. You trade him away, and it's just like for Anthony Davis, who kind of has a reputation of being injured. He hadn't in the past 2 years, but that reputation's followed him around. I was just thinking about Dallas fans in general. I was like, damn.
It was funny to watch all the NBA stars around the league react to it. Everybody was shook.
Everybody can get touched. Pretty much. That's the vibe I was getting. Like,
that could be an NBA inside job. All that work, all that stuff they talking about the international league. LeBron James and Mav Carter.
The joint.
But y'all better stay put. Hey,
I could see LeBron doing a 1-year, 100 million tour in Saudi Arabia at age 42, like just to go get that dough. I could see that. This is a good segue because I was thinking the last team America collectively started to hate, I think, was the Golden State Warriors. I think I'm sitting back thinking about it, like the stretch with, especially when Kevin Durant joined the team, and that part that America was like, okay, this is too much, and that was where I was leading to here. Are the Chiefs the new team for America to collectively hate? Like, it feels like there's a portion of us that loves greatness. Like, when we see greatness, we all can kind of recognize it in sports. But then it seems like once you cross over a certain part of that greatness and continue to be great, people start to hate on you. Like, they want to bring you down. Like, they don't want you to be too great. Like, everybody can't enjoy you being great. Somebody's got to be upset about it. And I feel like this week, I thought I was going to catch the vibes, like I was saying past couple of weeks, that I was comparing them to the 90s Bulls. And I never saw a lot of people hate the Bulls. Like, we all kind of rooted for that greatness. This is starting to shift, in my opinion, with the Chiefs. Like, I think people are getting tired of seeing them. And that's what it was with the Warriors. People were getting tired of seeing the Warriors every year in the finals, where it was kind of different with LeBron being in the finals for like 9-10 years in a row, because it wasn't the same team. Like, he was moving around.
I don't know, man. Like, this is my thing, right? I wouldn't even say Golden State. I would say go back to the 90s, right? Dallas Cowboys is America's team for a reason. It carries the weight of what Americans really are. Some people are just arrogant as all get out. And in the 90s, the Dallas Cowboys was all that.
I was on that train.
They was winning. They was talking that junk.
Flash.
And ever since then, and Jerry Jones and the whole household, they haven't been able to get right, but they still been arrogant about what they used to do.
I don't understand the fans.
So, like, I would say, yes, if Patrick Mahomes actually had a quote and said, if winning games makes us the most hated team in America, then I want to be the most hated team in America because I want to keep winning.
Let's go.
So if you want to hate this man because he's winning, I don't know. I don't know how else to put it. You got life backwards. You got life all backwards, because playing the football game, playing any game, living life, waking up in the morning, 10 toes on the ground, life is all about winning.
Yep.
And when you lose, you got to figure out how to turn that thing around and figure out how to learn from them losses, so that way you can just go back out there and try to win again.
See,
that's what it's all about.
See,
so
this
for all y'all people out there talking about, oh, the Kansas City Chiefs, I'm tired of seeing them win. Now look, do something about it. If you're tired of seeing them win, you gotta beat them. Yeah. Okay. And as long as they keep on winning, you should be taking notes. Okay.
You know what, the people see, this is why, especially the past 4 or 5 years of my life, I've begun to gravitate towards folks like Stu that have this mentality. Because it's like, I've started to learn, when you're the ones that are complaining about people winning all the time, it's because you never win. You're not a winner. Like, you don't know what it's like to win all the time. So like,
you'll continue to be a loser.
Exactly. You're gonna hate and hate and hate. It's gonna eat your heart, and you would rather feel that feeling instead of knowing
I would say,
like because you never won before. So
yeah, I would say this though. If Patrick Mahomes was not a good guy, it would be hard to root for a guy like that.
Yeah, if he was kind of like a like
Patrick Mahomes is he's a solid dude.
Yeah, like, he's never in the news. He ain't got no outside kids.
He handle his dad's in the news more than he is. Like Travis Kelce, like top notch, guy. Like
dude, you bring home.
You hear about his story and how he's gotten to where he's gotten. Things weren't just handed to him. Like he had to work for his. He had to prove his worth in college. Boy was kicked off the team and worked his way back. Had his brother go to bat for him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like there's things that if you really dive in, you actually should love this team. Like this is actually a good role model for what America's team should be, right? And having a head coach like Andy Reid, who is just out of this world when it comes to calling plays and finding mismatches and all those types of things.
I
mean, I feel like he might know he might know more about every team they play than the team themselves.
He's very good. I mean, Andy Reid goes all the way back to Brett Favre, like in the 90s, like in terms of scheming up offensive stuff.
Yeah,
a lot
Coach
of the offense in the league.
Holmgren and them.
Yeah, like a lot of the West Coast offense, a lot of that stuff Andy took from Bill Walsh and kind of built it into even more when he was in Green Bay and then with the Eagles and now here when he's doing with Kansas City. I can see the Cowboys reference because there's built-in hatred there for half the country for the Cowboys because they were winning a lot. Although that 90s, the triplets, that they kind of had star power, so they kind of overshadowed a lot of people hating them for a bit until Jerry came in there and messed everything up. I was going to actually say maybe the Patriots in the 2000s, but it's stretched out. Like the first 3 were in the first 4 years of Brady's career, and then the next 3 were 9 years later at the end of his Patriots career. But we always hated him.
Because they weren't going away.
Yeah,
they were always in the back of your mind,
there.
like, man, I hope they don't make it to the Super Bowl because Tom Brady's still the quarterback.
They got up to like Yankees Duke type status, and I wouldn't have mentioned Duke because they blew out my boys.
UNC, y'all still on the resuscitator?
Man, we need some bodies like that Duke. That's the first time in my life I've watched a Duke Carolina game and was like, man, we are too little.
They was getting thrown around, man.
Yeah, playing volleyball with us. Like, what's going on? They're defending passes and stuff. Like, we couldn't do anything. So they got to the point where, like Duke got to a national point where it was fun to hate Duke because they're just winning all the time. And like the Yankees are like that. The Cowboys, well, they kind of were like that, and the Patriots were like that. The Chiefs, though, again, to me, they remind me not of any of those teams.
Yeah, like if you actually like think to yourself, oh, I love to hate the Chiefs. Something wrong with you.
Yeah, what's wrong with you? Like, what do you hate? Like, do you hate?
Yeah,
fun, like scoring.
You hate that Travis Kelce's probably gonna marry Taylor Swift,
the biggest pop star on earth. Like, you hate behind the back passes in football. You hate no look passes. Like,
you hate guys that can dive in the air and look like they flying, throwing the ball forward.
Come from behind wins. Like, what is it? Like, I don't understand it. And it's not like the Chiefs are just being like super dominant either. Like this year, they haven't been blowing people out. They've just been figuring out ways to win football games. And to me, that makes me respect them more because that reminds me of the second three-peat for the Bulls. They weren't just like, well, in 96 and 97 they were, but 98 when they were kind of running on fumes, getting to the very end, they were these teams were getting strong enough to really combat them. I remember 7-game series against the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals with Reggie Miller and them boys, and that was a battle. And then Utah, who they saw the year before, they were waiting on them when they got there. This is kind of has the same parallels. They saw the Eagles 2 years ago.
This is what we really hating on. 5 Super Bowl appearances in 6 years.
That's what they want, something new.
So Patrick Mahomes, I'm gonna give you these stats here. Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady by the age of 29.
Here we go.
All right. Patrick Mahomes, 7 AFC champ appearances, right? Tom Brady has 4 Super Bowl appearances. Patrick Mahomes has 5. Tom Brady had 3 Super Bowl wins. Patrick Mahomes has 4. Tom Brady had 3 regular season MVPs, meaning the most valuable player in the league. Better than everybody.
Yep.
Better than anyone. Which Cam made a really good point this week or last week about, the MVP and the Super Bowl. We can get it in and get into that another time.
Too,
But like, no matter what happens to the Super Bowl, you are still the best player that year. So Patrick Mahomes has 2. Tom Brady had 0. Super Bowl MVPs, 4. Patrick Mahomes has 4. Patrick Mahomes.
It's ridiculous.
Patrick Mahomes has 4.
4.
Does that mean that he won one even when they lost?
Who they lose? No, because the one they lost was to Tom Brady in Tampa. And I think Brady got that, if I'm not mistaken. Does he have 4?
It says 4. Unless they
4 MVPs?
Let me see. How many?
Wait, how many rings is he at? He has 3
Super Bowl
rings right now, don't he?
MVPs.
No. Didn't they lose to somebody else? I'm trying to think who else they lost to in the Super Bowl. No, it was just Tampa that they've lost to in the Super Bowl. That Tampa Super Bowl, Tampa had their number.
All right, 3 times. Sorry, that was I had that mixed up. So 3,
had 3,
right?
But, I mean, hell, if he plays a great game,
if he wins this one, then he'll have 4. But anyways, through those stats, bro, if he plays another 10 seasons, he'll probably have 13 Super Bowl appearances. 5 regular season MVPs.
Oh God!
And at least 5 Super Bowl MVPs.
They'll have to rename the trophy after him.
Like he has not missed a season without going to the AFC Championship. Think about that.
I know
he has not missed a AFC Championship appearance.
And the cast has changed. It's not the same team going for 7 years.
Yeah.
Like everything around him has changed. It's sitting the same offense it was from the first year.
And that's what's even more impressive about this year. Like throughout the first half of the season, the Kansas City Chiefs were winning games. I'm just like scratching my head, like how?
Mm-hmm.
Like y'all ain't even functioning right. Y'all receivers banged up. Just got out of prison in off season, like all kind of stuff going on, like a lot of moving pieces. And then you talk about like the salary cap that they have had to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Like
they was dealing with the Chris Jones thing at the beginning of the year.
The Chiefs dynasty talk is they win this one. This is the best dynasty ever.
That's a good segue. That's a good segue into it. Our top 3 best Super Bowl dynasties, and I was sitting there writing them out, and I realized there's been a dynasty pretty much every decade. There's been someone that's won multiple Super Bowls in each decade since the Super Bowl era began, and I can just list them out here, and I'm gonna leave it up to you, Stu, to pick out the ones you think might be the best ones. But really, you're talking about in the 60s, it was the Packers, Bart Starr, Vince Lombardi. The 70s, of course, the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't think you can say Miami, even though they won 2 back-to-back in the 70s and went undefeated one of those years.
Nah, I wouldn't put Miami in there.
Yeah, so Steelers, Steel Curtain, Terry Bradshaw, Mean Joe Green. The 80s, it's the 49ers. They won 4 in the 80s, 81, 84, 88, 89. They were really the last ones that got close to the three-peat, and the 90 49ers made it to the NFC Championship game and lost.
Yep. So revolutionized the West Coast offense of Joe Montana, Steve. Like they figured it out.
Yeah,
they figured it out. 5 Super Bowl victories in 13 years, bro.
We did during COVID, we were looking for content. I did this thing that was like the greatest Super Bowl team ever or whatever, and we did these brackets like where we matched up all the Super Bowl winners, and then we even took some like at-large teams that didn't quite make it, like the 98 Vikings that went 15-1. The 2015 Panthers were in there as a high seed, and like I would get like content creators, and we would debate who would win these games, and we just did this bracket all the way down, and the winner ended up being the 1989 San Francisco 49ers. They beat the 92 Cowboys in our final or something like that. The 85 Bears were gone in the second round. So I was like, this whole thing is wrong. Like, what are y'all doing? Because I didn't have a vote. So it was like the people doing it with me. And they had the 98 Vikings beating the Bears. I was like, how old are y'all? Like, I don't understand like why y'all think this would work. But the 49ers in the 80s, the 90s Cowboys, 3 out of 4 years winning the Super Bowl. The third one was actually might have been the most impressive because at that point, Dion was on the team. It was Barry Switzer instead of Jerry Jones. And they kind of had to revamp everything. And they got back and won in 95. And that was literally the last time the Cowboys have had success since.
Yeah.
So we're in 2025. That was 30 years ago. Oh my gosh. So the Cowboys. And then in the 2000s, the Patriots. I guess maybe. Is there somebody else? Pittsburgh won a couple during that stretch. Ben won a couple.
I mean, if I had to call it the top 3, I would go New England 2001 to 2019, and that's just because of the freaking length.
Yeah, because even when they weren't making the Super Bowl, they was in the AFC Championship game, tormenting Peyton Manning or whoever. Like
they had 17 division titles. 17. All right. So. And then Pittsburgh Steelers 72 to 79.
Yeah.
And then the Niners 81 to 94.
Yeah, that was right.
Very similar to the New England Patriots in the sense of the longevity there. But when we talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, like
now
this is different.
So you got Patriots 1. You got the 2000 Patriots at number 1 as it stands right now before Super Bowl 59. Patriots number 1, 40 Steelers, the 70 Steelers number 2, the 80s 49ers number 3. If the Chiefs win this game on Sunday, because they're already floating around this already. Like, I mean, they're literally the 2020 dynasty or whatever already. If they win this, where do they go in what you just did?
They got to go to number, maybe 3. I mean, I don't know. It's either you say hell with it, they at number 1, and you move the Patriots to number 2, and you move the Pittsburgh Steelers to number 3. However you want to mix that up, because the Pittsburgh Steelers, I mean, they basically kind of doing the same thing that. Because I mean, they had 4 Super Bowls in 6 years.
Yeah,
the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yep.
The Chiefs have gone to 5 Super Bowls in 6 years, and they've won 3, right?
Yep.
And potentially can go 4. So if they win this one, I mean, I guess the difference here for the dynasty pitch is the Chiefs have been able to do it in different ways, where in the beginning it was, we're going to throw 55 touchdowns, Patrick. So you ready for that? and then it was the run game, and then it was the defense being stacked and being able to win hard fought games, and basically putting fear into your opponent every single week. And so this is where I think the Kansas City Chiefs are so different, is because you don't necessarily know how it's going to go. You don't know who's going to show up on Sunday. The only thing that you do know is that number 15 is over there. And so that's where all of this is really wild, because the dynasty is controlled by 15 and Ed Reed, or not Ed Reed, but Coach Reed, Andy Reid. And so
all these had a top tier quarterback. Like, you kind of have to have certain things. I'm looking through all these. You have to have at least a top tier quarterback and a near top of the league defense to pull this off. I mean, Packers, Bart Starr; Steelers, Terry Bradshaw; 49ers, Joe Montana; Patriots, Tom Brady; Cowboys, Troy Aikman. Like, it checks off. Like, if they do win, I think you got to put them first. Because to me, the one thing that I noticed too, they do resemble the Steelers in one aspect, where the Steelers prevented a lot of teams from winning Super Bowls in the 70s, like the Oakland Raiders. They probably should have more. The Miami Dolphins, they should have more than just what they got.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's talk about that. I love that angle, because now we're talking about, hey, who has the Chiefs had to beat?
Bingo.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Because without the Chiefs, bro, we talking Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson, MVP. The Chiefs are keeping MVPs out of the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Then you talking the
Josh
Bills.
Allen, the Bills.
Then you talking the Cincinnati Bengals. Although the Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow, beat the Chiefs.
They just lost.
That's why that was in 2021.
Yeah, 21. That's the only time he's lost in the AFC Championship. And
so that's the the stuff called that Superman is allergic to.
Kryptonite. Kryptonite, and they're not allergic to die.
So the Chiefs' kryptonite is seeing the Bengals in the playoffs.
Yeah, a little bit. I think so.
That's the only thing that we have to lean on. That's the only thing we have to lean on.
Yeah, but it's crazy to me that we've given Joe Burrow so much props off of that one game from 4 years ago. If you really think about it, now, granted, he killed it this year.
It ain't just Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow is him.
I know. He's top
defense.
Top
it's that defense. It's that coach. It's a lot of things over there that need to shake it up.
Yeah. Did you see they talking about T. Higgins might get $30 million per? Because I'm seeing, as we bring this back around to the Panthers real quick, The main thing that's been going around on Panthers social media is what should they do with the 8th pick? Should they trade it? There's been things going around with in terms of players becoming available. I've seen T. Higgins. They want to trade for him, and they want to go draft the kid from Arizona, Ted McMillan, the wide receiver, and all this other stuff. I'm still on the tip of if Travis Hunter is sitting there at 8, we're taking Travis Hunter. That's who I want. Like, he does multiple things. He fixes a lot of different issues. And there's going to be a run on quarterbacks. There always is, like the first couple of weeks. And we'll probably take a little break and come back, start doing our draft stuff. But by the time we get to the draft, a dude like what's the kid's name from Alabama? The quarterback, Jalen Milroe. Is that right? Is that right? He's going to be like the number 3 or 4 quarterback on the board by the time we come back here. We all know it. Like, we all know it. So it's like they're going to push
everybody needs to just relax and just chill, hit the chill button until we actually get over the Super Bowl, where you can actually listen to some folks that got some sense, has actually been watching film. Yeah. And so ain't nobody watching. People are watching film, yes, but people that you need to hear from that have been watching film, they paying attention to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
and they're paying attention to the playoffs.
Don't be worried about these dudes on here just like flashing clips and being like, "Hey, we should get this guy." Man, don't.
Nah, listen. First of all, we need defense. So defense is a priority, and that comes from Dan Morgan.
We just had a historically bad defense. We just allowed more points than the history of this franchise.
That ain't gonna fly with Dan Morgan, because Dan Morgan is a defensive guy.
And we did it all offense last year, like in the draft. Remember, free agency and everything else. We fixed the O-line. It's the defense's turn.
Yeah, let's go ahead and revamp that.
Is here. Ebro's still here because they promised him, look, bro, we're going to do all this stuff around the offense this year. Y'all might struggle if y'all get hurt, but your job secure. We're going to get you some dudes next year.
Don't worry about it, man. You might catch some flack in the media, but we're going to get you. We got your back.
Don't worry about the X and the people on there talking junk about you. We got you. We're going to get you somebody. I think they're gonna go grab a DT or somebody with that 8 pick and put them with
Where's Myles Garrett gonna go?
See, people were coming up. Would you trade for Myles Garrett? Would you trade the 8th pick and probably another first?
If I had the salary cap for it.
He's 30, so it's like you're getting probably another 3-4 years. Maybe prime.
I think his best landing zone should be Detroit.
I was gonna say Washington.
Or Commanders, yeah,
because they got the money. You got a
and that's NFC. If I had to go AFC, if you wanted to stay over there on the AFC side, I'd go Chargers.
Chiefs
ain't got no money. Chiefs ain't got no money.
It don't matter. He just wants to go win at this point.
Yeah, I know. He want to win a Super Bowl. He better go to the Chiefs, huh?
The Bills or Ravens, maybe, just to get them over the hump. But isn't Myles Garrett the defending defensive player of the year?
Man, Myles Garrett is a freak.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Would I like to have him on the Panthers? Absolutely. I don't know if he fits the window.
He's a 4-3 guy, though. Like, he's an overhand guy.
Yeah, so you're not even running a 4-3, so it doesn't even make sense to go get him. And that's the stuff that people don't talk about when they're on X, talking about, ooh, let's trade the 8th for Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett don't even play in the defense we run. Like, like what
and just because he wants to be traded doesn't mean he's going to get traded.
That's
happened. Every year there's a guy that said, I want out.
Yep.
And then he stays there.
Brandon Ayuk was that dude last year.
Same guy.
He's still there.
Hey, you want to be the highest paid? We'll pay you the high. We'll give you all the money.
Yep. Still there.
Oh, you want to give us insight on roster moves? We'll let you do that.
I'm gonna skip the and I'm sorry, Brandon, our producer, he made the graphic for the Nick Siriani thing, but I forgot about the Cam Newton comments. I wanted to get to that before we went to our picks and stuff for the game. For those that don't know, last Friday, I think it was on First Take, Cam Newton has become a weekly contributor to First Take during the week, which I love. It's added some sparkle at the end of the week there, and I love his analysis on things. And he had been asked a question point blank from Stephen A. Smith: if you could do it all over again and not win an MVP and get a Super Bowl ring instead, would you do it? And he didn't hesitate. He was like, no. And they were like the Stephen A. Molly, they're like, oh, really? And then he went into his explanation for it. And I ain't gonna lie, Stu, I agree with Cam in terms of what he was saying. Like he basically was saying that to get a Super Bowl ring, everybody, all 52 people have to do their job, like to get that ring. But with all due respect, Trent Dilfer has a Super Bowl ring. Nick Foles has a Super Bowl ring. As you said earlier on, an MVP award is different. Like Bill Parcells is my favorite comment from ever. Like if you are the MVP of the NFL, you are the best player in the league for that period of time. There's only 50 of them or whatever ever.
Yeah.
If you've won MVP, you should automatically be considered for Hall of Fame just because of winning the MVP. You don't get automatically considered for Hall of Fame for being the quarterback of a Super Bowl winning team. So
yeah,
your thoughts on what he said? I know some people took it as jarring. Some people thought it was being selfish, and I didn't take it that way at all. Like, I understood what he was saying. Like, what did you think when you heard it?
no, it made perfect sense to me because I mean, you play this game obviously to win championships, and that is the forefrontal like goal, right? But in the midst of doing that, you got to do your job, and if you're doing your job at a rate where you are valued to be looked at as the best player in the entire National Football League, that right there is a huge feat and accomplishment. First of all, you talk about Pee Wee football. I had to get through Pee Wee football, get to youth football, get to middle school football, get to high school, get to college, stay healthy, stay out of trouble, get drafted, like overcome injuries, overcome whatever it is to be then on a stage by my like amongst NFL greats. Like that's what he's saying. Like I had an impact on my team, but I also had an impact on the National Football League as a whole. We talk about guys that move the needle. That's Cam Newton. Cam Newton has done that, and he did that same season we went to the Super Bowl. And so for him to say like, I wouldn't give up my MVP. Why?
Yeah,
I earned that. I earned the MVP. I was the best player that year. We just didn't win a Super Bowl. Like, I wish we would have won a Super Bowl. Like, clearly, right? That's the goal. But not everybody gets to win a Super Bowl. But not everybody gets to be an MVP either.
That's harder. It's harder.
It's harder to be an MVP than it is to accomplish the feat of winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
There can only be one MVP, one individual, one person. There's multitude of people that get Super Bowl rings, like custodians, the top office, everybody in that building. When you win a Super Bowl, everybody gets a ring because you're part of that, right? And that's what's so beautiful about this sport is because it is a team-oriented sport. But when you are able to be pointed out as the very best player in the National Football League, NBA, whatever it is, that means you are him.
Yeah.
And don't take that away from me.
Yeah.
If I'm the MVP.
That's what he said. And as soon as he said it, I was like, he's absolutely right. Because the counter argument was
he articulated that so well.
He did.
He articulated that so well.
I've seen the counter argument being, well, Rich Gannon has an MVP. So but I bet he wishes he had a Super Bowl ring. I'm like, well, Rich Gannon didn't have the career Cam Newton did.
Yeah.
Like, you have to take it in proper context. Like, when we sit here and talk about whether or not Cam Newton's a Hall of Famer or first ballot Hall of Famer or whatever, that MVP goes into it.
Yes.
Now, if he had Super Bowl in his resume, it would help too. Like, Eli's probably going to get in just off of the 2 Super Bowl wins that he has. But was he ever an MVP in any season? No. Does anyone ever consider Eli Manning a top 10 quarterback in any year he played? I don't think so. Like, no, he was kind of right in the middle, hot, cold Eli Manning, but he got hot in the playoffs. Cam has records that may never be broken, like along with an MVP, along with a Super Bowl appearance, like that kind of stuff. That resume holds more weight to me than if he had not won the MVP and won a Super Bowl. It's almost like a Trent, well, not Trent Dilfer, but a situation where it's hard to explain. The MVP validates his athletic ability and his greatness on the field, not just for that season, but to me, his career. It validates his career.
It validates.
So I totally get what he was saying. And of course, people, whenever Cam says something, he's wearing a hat or whatever, people go crazy. And
people need to relax.
I can't believe he would say that. He's so selfish. Let's get into this game. Super Bowl 59.
I want to talk about Siriani right quick.
Okay.
Just real quick.
Yeah. Is Nick Siriani underrated as a head coach, in your opinion?
Yeah, he is. Now, granted, he was gifted a good team in 2021. That year, they went 9-8, and they made the playoffs. They lost. 2022, 14-3. He went from 9-8 to 14-3 in 1 year. Okay, that's called progress, right? They went to the playoffs. They went to the Super Bowl. They lost. 2023, last year, they went 11-6. They went to the playoffs and lost.
They were 10-1 at one point last year.
Yeah, they had a little shakiness, a little crumble action. That happens. This year, 14-3. Went to the playoffs. They're going to the Super Bowl. They added a guy named Saquon Barkley. And boy, is he magical. And that's it. That's the story, fella. That's it. I just listed off 4 years of excellence.
2 Super Bowl appearances in the past 4 years.
Thank you. What else you want this guy to do besides win it, right? You got to win it, obviously, get there. But if you're the Philadelphia Eagle fan base and you was calling for this man's head last year after being 11-6, and you crumble, but you made the playoffs, you lost in the first game. You're 48-20 under this guy, right? 70% winning. That's what you want.
Yeah.
What
else?
Wrong? So why are we even having this discussion as is he underrated?
And I don't remember seeing Eagles on this list of Super Bowl dynasties that we just checked off through. So the audacity of Eagle fans to be like, we expect better. It's like you just won your first Super Bowl ever, 4 years ago or whatever.
Like this shouldn't even be a discussion because he should be amongst the talk of, wow, he's a fantastic coach.
And he really isn't. We never talk about it.
He's 4 years into this. And we need to be talking about this more.
Well, if he wins,
I guess last year, it's like we're bashing him because they lost in the playoffs, but they made the playoffs. Like what? I just don't get it.
It's almost like he's not flashy, and neither is Jalen Hurts. Really, the Eagles aren't really flashy, so maybe that's some of it. If they beat the Chiefs, though, we're going to have to start having that conversation about Nick Siriani. If they don't beat the Chiefs, it'll just be kind of expected. So, it's one of those things. But when I thought about that, I was like, I think he is underrated. I mean, I can't name a whole lot of coaches that have been to the Super Bowl 2 and 3 years, like ever. So, I mean, for him to do that is a great accomplishment. Chiefs, Eagles, 6:30 p.m. Sunday on Fox. If I'm not mistaken, Fox is going to let you stream this for free. I believe through their Fox Sports
app. That's good for them, man.
Yeah,
shout out to Fox.
You can do that there. Before we do the 3 keys to the game, though, actually, our helpful producer today, Brandon, gave us some prop bets that we need to hit real quick. So, Stu's take on Super Bowl prop bets.
All right.
Let's see. First one is Taylor Swift to appear on stage with Kendrick Lamar at halftime. It's at plus 1,000. I didn't even think about that.
I'm gonna say no.
Yeah,
I think she's gonna just go there. And the reason why I'm thinking to myself, if I'm Travis Kelce, I'm like, hey, babe, I know you're the biggest pop star on the planet.
Yeah.
But this is a Super Bowl, and I just kind of want this to be about, the game. No disrespect to you, but, I just don't want the tabloids to be all up in our face. I'm trying to focus on the game. I don't want to be in the locker room hearing you during halftime, hearing your voice, and it might get me distracted, right? Yeah. And so I'm going to say no to that one. This is presented by Bets Online.
Yeah, this is by Bet Online. Now I will say they do have a song together, Bad Blood, and that was a couple years back. So
they'll sing that at the after party if they win.
Oh, real quick before we move off of that, did you see the Grammys?
I did.
Did you see?
Kendrick. Listen, this is the first time in history that a diss track has won
the
Grammy 5 times. 5 times.
They strategically played specific parts of the song when he's walking up.
And he was wearing the Canadian suit up there.
The Canadian tuxedo. Yeah. My man is diabolical. Like he's trolling on another level. Like he's trying to end Drake's career. Like it reminds me of
Drake just needs to lean into it, man. Look,
come
on. You got it. You got it, bro.
Fight back, man. It's like the meme with they're poking the kid with this fight back. Because like right now, Kendrick.
Nah, don't
Kendrick's
fight
about to
back.
go
Just
through the
lean
best week
into
of
it.
his life.
Yeah, it's a difference between fighting back. I want him to lean into it. Basically saying like, hey, look, yeah, you got me.
Look, 150 million people in unison are about to sing Not Like Us during the halftime show.
The whole world.
Yeah, like they didn't bleep out pedo or whatever at the Grammys. The entire audience sing that minor. The entire audience. Taylor Swift is praising the class, dancing to it. Dr. Dre clapping in the like. I mean, this is crazy. Like I've never seen this happen. The closest thing to it is the 50 Cent Ja Rule thing, early 2000s, where Ja was on top of the world. 50 just started this barrage of mixtapes for like 2 years. So by the time it was over, you felt dirty liking Ja Rule. Like, you know what I mean? But 50's mistake was he never changed what he was doing, like on his CDs or whatever. He was still the same guy from the first CD to the fourth. Kendrick has evolved. Like he's way better than he was from even To Pimp a Butterfly. He's involved as an artist. So like this. I don't know. I'm glad we got that in there because the Canadian tuxedo, chef's kiss. That's if you're gonna troll, if you're gonna troll, do it right. And Kendrick is. I'm expecting something to happen during the Super Bowl.
Maybe he'll bring Drake out. Maybe he'll do a truce.
That would be that's a bet that's not up here. That would be
so.
Yeah, Kendrick.
So here's a bet. Someone create this bet when you hear this. Give me the odds of Drake showing up during halftime to present a truce with Kendrick Lamar.
They did Poetic Justice together, like in 2011. They got a song together. That would. All right, but will there be a field goal doink? Yes, at plus 425. No, at negative 800.
I'm gonna say no because we're in the dome, so the wind won't be a factor. Only the nerves will be a factor.
Okay. Travis Kelce to propose to Taylor Swift after the game on live television. Yes, plus 700. No, negative 2,000. I don't think he would do it.
This is not the stage.
Yeah, they don't seem like that type of couple. Like they don't need the attention. So
no, they don't. If they did that, I'd be like, wait a minute.
Yeah, this seems low. It's a little forced here.
Let's relax, everyone.
Total field goal yards over under. Wait, I think that might. I don't know.
I'm going to definitely go over.
It says 116.5. Total field goal yards. Okay, so
each side.
So the
I can
total
see this,
amount of.
I can see this being one of those games where the Chiefs aren't wanting to. They're not doing what they really want to do offensively, and they're settling for a lot of field goals. And very similar on the other side, right? Philadelphia is going to run that rock. They're going to be playing in that territory, but just won't be able to connect. And so the field goals are going to be popping off.
The Eagles to win from behind, plus 175, meaning trailing at any point during the game. That ain't a bad one. The problem is you have to believe that the Eagles win the game.
Eagles to win from behind. I mean, yeah.
I mean, they're going to be behind
that one. I think they'll be behind. Maybe in the, I don't know. Maybe in the first. It depends who wins the coin toss.
There's one right there.
Determines that.
Yeah, there's a prop bet right there. Who wins the coin toss? And then first touchdown scorer jersey number over under 15.5. What number is Saquon?
26.
I would take the over on that because I'm assuming Saquon's going to be. He might be the first one to score. If I had to choose who's going to be the first one, it'd probably be Saquon or maybe Xavier Worthy. What number does Worthy wear? Like 15? No, Mahomes is 15. What number does Worthy wear?
8.
But it's a low number, I think. Yeah. But I'm
going to go with Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, Saquon. So that we're going to go over on that.
If anyone's questioning what to do on Sunday, bet for the Eagles to win. And bet for Saquon to go off in any fashion.
In 100 plus.
Now I know Spags over there. He's trying to figure out how he's going to stop the running game, just like the rest of the world has been trying to stop Saquon, but they have not been able to find that answer. Now I would say Spags was the one that was able to knock off the Patriots when they were 18-0. Basically,
yes. Yeah, he was the defensive coordinator.
He was able to find something for that. That he found a formula to stop them. So maybe he might be able to stop Saquon, but
He's
I ain't
really good
betting on
with
it.
pressure, blitzing. He does a lot of exotic blitzes. Like he'll send the cornerbacks in. Like he'll
You know
load up
what?
one side and send it in from the other. Like yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, you know what? My keys to victory. Let's go
Mhm.
to keys to
Yeah,
victory.
let's do keys to victory because we got to get up out of here. Our main keys to victory for both teams. We'll just go back and forth.
Okay. Well,
You want to start with Kansas City or you want to start with Philly?
Philly.
Okay.
Number uno, or numero uno. Feed that monster Saquon Barkley. 2,000 yards
It ain't
this
hard.
season.
It ain't hard. Just
It ain't
don't
hard.
deal Baltimore. Don't forget that you have a
Don't
monster in your
forget that
backfield.
he's number 26 back there is ready to be unleashed. He is willing to put his body on the line. So don't feel bad. He won't feel bad. You will be rewarded for making sure that he gets the ball. Because when he gets the ball, at least he needs to have at least 25 touches.
I was just thinking that he needs 25 touches in this game. Minimum.
However it looks. Okay.
Mhm.
And what's going to end up happening, to my next key to victory, you got to make sure you still protect and pass protection. Okay. Protect and be on the lookout for them blitzes because it's going to come. But one of the things that you have is Saquon Barkley. You run the ball so that way you make it easier for the pass game. You make it easier for Jalen Hurts. You get those guys having to play different coverages. Now, all of a sudden, you got guys like A.J. Brown running wide open.
Yep.
You got to connect. You got to connect. You got to connect. What's yours?
Kansas City on their end. Don't let Saquon Barkley run up and down your back all day. Like that's easier said than done, but I would imagine they're going to load the box and force Jalen Hurts to beat you in the air. A lot of the teams have not done that. They've been more worried about the run game, and they've been trying to contain like AJ Brown and Devonta Smith, and I mean they got weapons like up and down. The offensive line is probably the top in the league, so it's tough sledding to try to stop Saquon. Slow him down. Like I'd say, goal less than 100 yards rushing for Saquon. We're in business. Less than 200 yards passing for Jalen Hurts. We're in business. But Philly has the ability to make this an ugly game too, and I don't know if Kansas City wants it to be an ugly game. So keep Kansas City's offense off the field too, because the last thing you want on a big stage is Pat Mahomes get lathered up and comfortable. Because we've seen that happen, and they've been down, and like he gets comfortable. And really, the number one thing with Kansas City for Philly for key, there's going to be a big play from Kansas City. Like they're going to do something, like a 65-yard bomb, a kickoff return, just something, a long run. They always do it in the Super Bowl. There's always something. Remember when they were down to, was it the 49ers? And that was the last time they were in New Orleans, and Beyonce blew out the power during the halftime or whatever, and they were down late, and he finds Tyreek Hill way downfield, 65+ yards, changes the whole game around. Kansas City comes from behind and wins. Like I don't expect Kansas City to win from beginning to end. I kind of expect them to be behind most of the game, to be honest, and then they're going to do that Pat Mahomes Chiefs thing and take it by the neck in the fourth quarter. If you're Philly, you have to be aware of it. Like, don't let your foot off the gas. If you're up in the fourth quarter with 8 minutes to go, don't think, okay, we got them. No, this is exactly where they want you. This is exactly where the Chiefs want you at. So,
yeah, they got that speed back too because they got Hollywood Brown back.
Yeah, they just got healthy. They just got healthy like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, so they got to make sure Cooper DeJean, Mitchell, Slay, y'all got to be in y'all back pedals like it's like y'all wake up in the morning and just drink some water. Like it's got to be that easy.
The Chiefs defensive line had a game during the AFC Championship too. Keeping an eye out for those boys.
Josh Sweat, I need you to get out I need you to be real firm on the edge there. You and Nolan Smith.
I heard some interesting stuff about Josh Sweat maybe being a Panther next year.
Yeah, show us what you got.
Drew Rosenhaus is his agent. He's friends with Dan Morgan. He's going to be in a contract. He's in a contract year right now, I Bleav. His name started popping up on my socials this week. Yeah, so he slide right in. But yeah, the 6:30 Sunday. Before we go out though, last thing I wanted to ask from you before final predictions: what's your favorite thing to eat during the Super Bowl?
My favorite thing to eat during a Super Bowl is chicken wings, lemon pepper.
Ooh, yes. Now, are you I always when I do these like interviews with NASCAR drivers and stuff, I always ask this question because I feel like it tells like who you are as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a flats guy or are you a drums guy?
Flats.
Really?
Yeah. I used to be a drumstick. I used to be a drum guy.
Why did you change? We're all serious. Like, why did you change?
Like I like the skin, the consistency. It's more consistent of the flat. And I just like to go.
Oh, you want them dudes that can take the whole. Yeah, I had a buddy that could do that. I could never. And then somebody teach me, you just pull the one bone out and then you just take the whole thing and go. Drums are like, you can dip them better to me. Like, and you have more surface. Like you can get to whatever. Lemon pepper is my number 2 flavor. I'm on a garlic parm kick right now. So like hot garlic parm.
What you need to do is get some lemon pepper, you coat them with lemon pepper, get you a side of Cajun seasoning.
I got a Wingstop.
And then you get some ranch or blue cheese, however you want it, but then you got to get a side of hot sauce, buffalo sauce, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You go dip into the sauce.
Let me write this down.
And then you go Cajun seasoning, and then you go ranch.
That's gonna
take a bite.
I'm clipping this because I need this. This is important. This is important.
You're welcome. Yeah. Make sure you go lemon pepper on. You toss them in the lemon pepper, Cajun on the side, buffalo sauce on the side, and then the ranch.
But Brandon, our producer today, is asking the question: Wingstop or Buffalo Wild Wings?
Wingstop.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't mess with Buffalo Wings. I don't really mess with Buffalo Wild Wings.
They ain't bad.
They don't really spend too much time. It's too bulk, Like just take them out there.
Wingstop was a craft. Like they had like a chef.
Because there's like 2 guys back there, maybe one sometimes.
Yeah.
They're like,
with the bowl, he's like,
let me put a little bit more seasoning in there.
I watched the dude do that the other day. I was in there. He kind of looked around. It's like,
yeah.
Start doing some more. So I got a Wingstop right up the street. They just built one in my town like 2 months ago, and I've been in there like nonstop. So that's for the wing connoisseurs out there. All right, final predictions: Chiefs, Eagles, Super Bowl 59. Give me a final score here. I'm gonna let you go first. You know something else? I meant to look this up. Maybe if we do a end of the season show next week, I'm gonna go back to our August shows. Remember when we were doing our predictions? Did we not predict Chiefs and Eagles? Or was it Chiefs Lions? I think it was Chiefs Eagles.
We had Chiefs Lions.
Was it? Okay, because I remember thinking Chiefs Eagles. We just did that. Like when we did the picks.
I thought it was Chiefs. I think it was the Lions.
I know we were high on the Lions. I'm gonna go find it. Well, I was thinking about the other day. I was like, I think all 3 of us we ended up landing on Chiefs and Eagles. I'll go find it. It was in August sometime during the preseason. But give me your final predictions here. Chiefs Eagles. I haven't even seen the spread for this game at where it's moved to. Like it matters with Mahomes in here.
I'm gonna go the Philadelphia Eagles will be the Super Bowl 59 champs.
Oh,
and the score.
Chiefs are favored by 1.
The score will be 31-27.
Eagles. 31-27 Eagles. Okay. Here, I'm going to write this down so we can. All right. So you're going 31-27 Eagles. I'm going to go.
Saquon going to have he's going to have over 150 yards rushing.
Ooh. Oh, he's got that better, man. Yeah. Yards rushing. Okay. I'm going to go. I don't think either team gets to 30. Kansas City, unless it just breaks down into like a shootout, which has happened before, but these defenses really
both of them have great defenses.
Yeah,
but one of them gonna show up on the wrong side of the bed.
I'm gonna go.
That's just the nature of it. When you have, they have more juice as well. By the way, right? Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
They lost to who in the Super Bowl?
The Chiefs. Yeah.
So
this
do you think
like literally these same dudes like 2 years ago?
Do you think that they are gonna have something to fight for?
I don't know. That's actually a good question. Does that carry over like 2 seasons?
Absolutely,
away?
it carries over. This is like, we get to play. This is destiny. This is
okay.
If I'm waking up in the morning,
right.
I'm thinking to myself, "Hey, look, we are here again for a reason. We ain't here just to be playing the Super Bowl. We're playing against the Chiefs again. This is a rematch.
I'm gonna go.
This is payback.
I'm gonna go 27-24 Chiefs, and I'm gonna add on to that. The game is gonna end on a missed Eagles field goal. Wow. They're going to try to tie this game up at the end, and it's going to be like a 59-yarder or whatever, and they're going to miss it, and the Chiefs are going to walk off Super Bowl champs because it just seems to fit the narrative of the Chiefs this year. Like think about the first game we saw them this year against the Baltimore Ravens. They won by a toenail, like literally. Yeah. Like they've been doing that all year. I have no reason to expect it to be anything different, and there's got to be some kind of drama. I can see these teams going back and forth, especially in the second half. Eagles get the ball last. They're down by 3. Jalen Hurts gets them down to like the 38-yard line. They go out to kick a 58-yard field goal. Wide right. Clock expires. Confetti falls down. Chiefs 3-peat. Now they're talking about 4. That's where I think we're going to be at the end of Sunday night. And I'm going to go back and look for that. So
Saquon's going to break Terrell Davis's record and become a Super Bowl champ.
Ooh. So one of the two is going to happen. Either the Eagles are going to do this or the Chiefs are going to do this. If Saquon Barkley goes for 150 yards, then they better win. Like, if he does that in a losing effort, I'm just like, dang, the Chiefs.
I'm like, wow, like the Chiefs have really got some witchcraft going on over there. That's what the answer would be.
That's going to require some craziness if that goes down. But we're at the end of it here. So enjoy Super Bowl weekend. Take Stu's wing tips to heart. I'm gonna clip that. We'll have that out a little bit later on because I'm doing that Super Bowl because I was already thinking with the lemon pepper.
We're gonna call them
Stu's wing tips.
Stu's special.
Yes, Stu's special.
Stu's special wing.
Stu's special. I'm doing it for.
We're gonna call them the flap. We're gonna call them the flappers.
There you go. There it is. There it is right there. So you can catch this audio version of this episode on the Bleav Podcast Network a little bit later on today. The video is, of course, the Bleav YouTube channel. We'll have little clips and stuff throughout the week leading up to the Super Bowl. But definitely check us out there. We should have a recap next week after the Super Bowl, and then we'll kind of figure out from there what we're doing leading up to the draft. But for Jonathan Stewart, this is Desmond Johnson. You've been watching and listening to the Bleav in Panthers podcast here on Bleav Podcast Networks. Keep pounding.
Fly.